Okay, now we're looking at router 6. Router 6 is connected to C1 and to C2. To C1, we're going to need to set a MED, and we're going to have to be aware that C1 may set this low preference request. And then to C2, again, it can set the low preference request, and at the same time, we are only sending the default. So we're just sending 0, 0 rather than the normal aggregate. So let's have a look how it works. We'll do C1 first. So here we go. Set policy options, policy statement, AS internal, from the aggregate, from the route filter, metric 10, that's the MED setting, accept. And then for the rest of the BGP, MED setting and accept. Now, of course, this policy here is just from the BGP, and this is from the aggregate, hence the double policy here, because both of them will need the MED. Now we're looking at the filter, and this is specifying the inbound. We're looking at whether or not the C1 low preference has been set by the customer. If it has, then we set the local preference to 90, and we've got the basic preference length range of /8 to 24. I'm going to set the local preference to 400, accept it and reject it. So that's C1 done. Now C2, slightly different. Our aggregate here is 0, 0 rather than 17230, and we're going to be accepting that and then rejecting. But of course, on the C2 filter inbound, the customer may be setting this C2 low preference, and if they do, and if the prefix length range is valid, we're going to set it to 90, accept it, mark it with the community C2. And the rest of the routes, we're going to be marking with preference 300, and adding the community C2, accepting and rejecting. And just notice there that the C1 is local preference 400 and the C2 is 300. And the reason C1 is 400 is because router 6 wants to be the preferred inbound route to C1, which is why the local preference is 400, higher than router 7. Okay, so we set the export and the import groups as all of the other peers, and let's not forget the IBGP and the CBGP. We need the routing black hole, the next hop self, and in C2's case, we're multi-hop with, I believe, RIP running between the peer and the PE, and this allows us to have a route to the loopback and load share between the two.